What's cracking like it's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so. And we're back, and this time we're taking a look at my first 2021 NFL mock draft. I did this right after the 2022 draft wrapped up, and I gave y'all actually 2 rounds. Wild, man. I only gave you one round of the 2022 mock draft. I spoiled y'all back in the day. But I think it's interesting to go back and see what really changed throughout a year. But to say there's some weird takes, there's some hot takes, and there's one take that I got absolutely correct that I'm really happy about. But before we get into that, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Streams will be back next week. We're going to be doing NCAA football, college football revamped. And we're going to start a dynasty mode on that. We might do a couple of different projects with that during these, waning times until NFL gets back started, as well as college football. Rankings, I'm working on might be another week or two before I start getting rankings for the 2022 draft out. Keep in mind, these are rough rankings, just kind of like the first insight. I'm really going to use the bulk of the summer to try to get more of a take on these guys, but just something to whet our palate. Some of the guys that I'm looking at that, hey, you should, probably be aware of going into the college football season. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's dive in. Switching over to this sucker. And yes, I got my face over my old webcam because I guess I cut my beard in this video and I don't like how it looks. But yeah, looking at here, and hold on. Just to prove this is a video from me back in the day. Look at that. Look at that, dude. Look at that look. That's the look I chose. Oh, that's what I chose to pause on. Not a great take. So looking at the first round, I'm not gonna lie, it looks solid to me. Or first round, first 8 picks. Vegas betting odds too, by the way. Yo, good on y'all. Y'all are almost on point. Jags, Bengals were in the top 5. The Panthers were in the top 8. Like, impressed. But I went Justin Fields. The hot take here. I had Lawrence. Lawrence was my rank 1. If you go back in my top 10 rankings for the QBs, Lawrence was my number 1. I just said Fields was very, very close. Very close. And he came out. He had kind of a crap year. This, I was kind of playing with the idea because like a lot of people thought Lawrence was the unanimous number 1, and he ended up being the unanimous number 1. But I really thought Fields was that darn good, and he is, man. He went 11, dude. Teams the Bears traded up for him. The Vikings tried to. So he just had a rough game. Mainly that Indiana, the Northwestern game, those weren't good. But like, I'm gonna hold. Like, I like Fields as a quarterback prospect. Like, he is a good prospect. I'm gonna stay on that, man. Like, I know some people have their takes. Oh, he's gonna be a bust. It's okay. We'll see when we see it. And if he ends up being a bust, then cool. We all miss guys here and there. Guess what? First rounders, they don't hit all the time. That's what happens. But yeah, I just wanted to play with the idea. Wanted people to know that, hey, Fields is pretty darn close to Lawrence. It's not settled yet, but it ended up being settled not too shortly after into the college football season. I had Washington, who was still Washington football, or who wasn't the Washington football team at the time, mind you. Trevor Lawrence, that one was kind of obvious. Benny Sewell, he ended up being the first tackle off the board. Going to the Bengals here, which some people still dispute should happen. I will just say that. Jamar Chase was my first wide receiver of the board, ended up being the first one. So, haha, good on me. He would go a pick later at 5, though, while Sewell would go at, 7, right? Yeah, 7. Yeah, 7, because the Dolphins picked Jalen Waddle. Micah Parsons, he would take a little tumble to 12 just because of the concerns, but ended up being the top linebacker prospect in this class anyway. He didn't end up being the first defensive player off the board. That was saved for J.C. Horn, who may or may not be in this. But Rashad Bateman, Gregory Rousseau, they went at the back end of the first round, but I still at the end of the season, I had Rashad Bateman as a top 20 prospect. Gregory Rousseau had dropped quite a bit. Everyone kind of understood that. It was kind of cemented after the pro day that, well, hey, dude, the Dolphins did end up picking 6 and took a wide receiver. Yo, look at me. Look at me. But Gregory Rousseau, yeah, that pro day just not showing really great athleticism. Really the explosiveness and the agility, it was just kind of lacking. You kind of hope to see a little bit more. But I mean, his physical tools were enough for the Bills to take a shot on him. Patrick Surtain to the Falcons. I mean, at some cases, not too long ago, a couple months ago, I had the Falcons trading back and taking Surtain. So, yeah, and at this point, man, I didn't even consider Kyle Pitts a first-round talent, man. It was just, dude, his rise was wild. You could say the same thing about Zach Wilson. You won't see him in this mock draft, mainly because I ended up listening, when I did my top 10, I also had a link where you could go see my full ranking. Zach Wilson was on there, but I had him listed as shouldn't declare. And keep in mind, those rankings were put out right before the season. So it's crazy what one season, how things can change. But Patrick Surtain ended up going a pick later to Denver, actually. So very interesting. Let's move on, because obviously as we go further into the draft, into this mock, picks get a little more outlandish. But so far, I think all these guys went in the first round, so not so bad. Can't say the same for this next pick though. Marvin Wilson. I was like, dude, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna put him as my top interior defender. So before y'all haze me for him being an undrafted free agent, because he shouldn't have been. Raiders getting Alex Leatherwood at 16. I'm just gonna. Yo, come on. Raiders getting Alex Leatherwood at 16. I was off by one pick, but like in terms of they picked 17, but still, man. Wow. Right? No. Wait, hold up. I'm trying to think. Yes, no, because Cardinals picked 16 and the Raiders picked 17. Okay. I was about to say, did I hit the trifecta? But no, I had the right team to the right, or the right player to the right team. Pretty nice. But Marvin Wilson, no one could really anticipate how bad 2020 was going to be. And then injuries apparently played a big part in his fall down the board. A lot of teams didn't view him as that 3-down player. But still, out of the 19 defensive interior players that were taken, you could make a case that 5 to 8 of them aren't better prospects than Wilson. Phil Hopkins, I don't know. Both, you could say both Kentucky defensive interior players. And I liked Quinton Bohanna, but not better than Marvin Wilson. Like, it was real shock to see him go undrafted. Justin Ross ended up not declaring because shortly after this he had the spinal cord injury, which it'll be interesting to see how he rebounds, man. I can't wait. I will say this is a bad early take. Isaac Taylor Stewart. It doesn't look like he's going to be getting the playing time at USC. Yeah, I was really high off this guy after his 2020, or would it be his 2019 season, and in 2020 he was not getting a lot of playing time. So I don't know. Even trying to rank him in the 2021 or 2022 draft rankings, like, I'm having a tough time because I still believe in the talent, man, but we're just not seeing a lot of production from him. They're not playing him on the field a lot. Shaun Wade. Everyone and their mom had the take of, you were either pro, he's going to develop into a fine outside corner just like every other Ohio State prospect, or you were, I will wait till I see it, but he's not going to be the top corner off my board just yet. And I happen to fall into that category. And guess what? It didn't work out. He ended up going, in the 4th round, 5th round, something like that. Yeah, he ends up being a box safety, slot only. Jamie Newman, I will admit, everyone and their mom had Jamie Newman in mock drafts at right after the 2022 draft. I'm not even mad at that. I'm the only one that stayed. Well, okay, that's not true. I still had a third round grade on Jamie Newman. It kind of sucked seeing him go undrafted. I mean, dude, I'm just gonna say, if Ian Book goes in the 4th round, you can't tell me that Jamie Newman isn't draftable. If someone was willing to draft Ian Book in the 4th round, you can't tell me Jamie Newman is undraftable. Jamie Newman's got insane accuracy downfield. I hope he could get it between the ears. That's what it is. Like how he views the middle of the field, he just can't read defenses, can't manipulate defenses. It really is going to need a year of seasoning. But hey, watch out Jalen Hurts, man. If things go south, we maybe see Jamie Newman. Probably to take the rest of the season, but it might happen. Wyatt Davis, I was actually surprised he didn't go even in the 2nd round. Yeah, this is before I really got on Elijah Vera Tucker. But wow, yeah, like Wyatt Davis ended up going to the 3rd, like quality pick by Minnesota too, solid. Jalen Waddle here at 15 ends up being my 3rd wide receiver, so I mean, yeah, he was in that mix. We'll get to Devontae Smith later. He's still in this 1st round mock, but a little further down. But yeah, man, I love Waddle, dude. I even in some cases just a little while ago I had the Titans traded up to grab Waddle. Like, I mean, once you start doing trades with a mock draft, you do some interesting things. But Alex Leatherwood to the Raiders. What can I say, man? What can I say? I nothing. I can say nothing. I'm as flabbergasted as you. Oh man, my nose is ready. But I knew going back I didn't expect to get anything right in this draft, especially after when I went back to look and I was like, I put Fields first. Oh, dude, the ball's on me, man. Jeez. I was surprised that I actually nailed this pick. Luck, pure luck. Let's be honest, pure luck. All right, let's keep this party rolling. See how bad they. Oh, I'll tell you, they get bad in this next set. They get bad. Paulson Adebo, not so bad. You know, he ended up going to the 3rd. Really got, after he opted out, I really got lower on him. So not so bad. Trevon Merrick should have went in the 1st. Should have went in the 1st for all intents and purposes. Should have went in the 1st. Ended up going in the 2nd. But let's get to this. Tanner Morgan. I can tell you by the end of the summer, end of that summer, and I went to put out my rankings, I was no longer on Tanner Morgan. I was like, oh, maybe more of a 5th round. I could tell you in these rankings coming up, he's probably going to be an undrafted free agent. Tanner Morgan is not, especially after the 2021 season or 2020 season, not nearly as impressive as I thought he was. That was a special year though. I think they beat Auburn in the they beat Auburn in the bowl game that year too. So like that was an impressive 2019 season that Minnesota put together. But yeah, Tanner Morgan is not as high as I thought he was. Jackson Carman, I still liked him coming into the actual draft. He ended up being a 2nd round prospect for me. I mean, he went to the Bengals because I said he should have went to the Jags, and then Walker Little should have went to the Bengals, and then they switched those on me. But yeah, I still like Jackson Carman. It was the emergence of other guys like Tevin Jenkins. Rashawn Slater will be on these in this mock. And just wait till you hear what I had to say about him. We're gonna play that because I'm just gonna say, called it. Kobe Harvell Peel. He did return, him and Trey Steele. I really like was it KHP? I'm just gonna call him Colby. I like him a lot. He'll probably be a day 2 safety when my rankings come out. I'm a big fan of his game. Amon-Ra St. Brown ended up falling to the 4th round, I think, to Detroit, I believe. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head, but dude's a great prospect. Packers, they still should have went receiver at some point. Well, I guess they Went with, they did go with a slot, but I think I'd rather Brown. James MP, he's actually a super senior. He's going to be a 6-year senior this year. He is an older prospect. He probably won't be highly valued, unfortunately, because of that. I think the NFL learned its lesson about drafting guys that are like 27, 28. After what when did the Eagles do it? Eagles draft Baylor. I'm pretty sure it was like 28-year-old. I want to say it was like Watkins or something. He was like a guard. Danny Watkins. Yes. Let's see. Wow, man. Yeah. Danny Watkins. How old was he specifically? He became the oldest first-round selection since 1971. Oh, he was 26. Okay. I think James Empey's going to be over 26. James, he's a solid player, but it is what it is. Probably just going to be one of those guys that are a better college football player. He might get on an NFL roster like during preseason. We'll see. Walker Little, I came around to Walker Little a ton, and I kind of hovered with him around early second to the late end of the first, and I kind of settled on him being that Bengals pick in the second round. Just didn't happen. So yeah, and this was before the Jamal Adams trade, I believe. So let's keep this party rolling, because Brock Purdy, he ended up deciding to return. I'm not gonna be that high on him in my quarterback rankings coming up. I still like the guy. He really needs a big bounce back year though. Charlie Collar is gonna be one of the top like 5 tight ends in this upcoming class. Caleb Farley, man, he ended up going in about this range. Well, he went at 22 to the tight end, so not half bad. I was a big Chris RUMPH mark. By the way, San Fran, dude, they wouldn't have been a top 5. They would have been picking at 12 if they were healthy. Just gonna say that. But yeah, I was a big Chris RUMPH mark. Still am, dude. I love that. Like, he's got an impressive set of pass rush moves despite his size. He's got good length, good power. Like, man, it just sucks, dude. Size, man. Wait, he's got to get it. He got up to 244. I don't know if it was necessarily a good 10 pounds he put on, because he didn't do pro days. I think for that specific reason, he knew he was going to come in slower because he was heavier. But man, it really sucks. Samuel Cosme, in my opinion, should have been a first rounder. I was surprised he fell as far as he did. He was like pick 51 or something there at the back end of the second, but still a solid prospect. Travis Etienne, he ended up being a first rounder, man. I included one running back because always one running back goes, but yeah, Najee Harris ended up missing the cut here, but yeah, Bucks ended up not going to running back at all. I mean, because they have already so many running backs in house. So Rondale Moore ended up not going to the first round. Not a surprise. Just kind of a high-end gadget player that didn't really have the 2020 many expected. Devontae Smith, man, he would have this huge rise this year, the Heisman Trophy winning year. But he still ended up being, I guess he was my wide receiver 6 early on. And this was before I was really, really high into Tamari and Terry. But can you imagine the Chiefs taking Devontae Smith? That would have been wild. But yeah, I mean, I listened to him the first round. I don't want to say I was off about him, because I mean, I still have big concerns about how his game translates to the NFL, but I guess we'll see, man. I guess we'll see. So let's go to the second round. Let's see how many undrafted free agents I end up having, because best believe Tamari and Terry is going to be on this list. Let's see. Wow, am I still talking about that? No, I'm not. Okay. Nope, still am. Okay, right here. Yeah, look, Najee Harris. He went at 33. I knew the Jags were going to take a running back. Yeah, I knew that. But man, Najee Harris, to say, man, him and Etienne were, I would have taken them at the beginning of the, they would have been the top running backs in the 2020 class for me, and they decided to return in 2021. They ended up being the top ones in that class. So Yeah, surprising, unsurprising. Tyson Campbell ended up going about this range. I think he was 33 specifically. Yeah, I think he was the first pick there to the Jags. So just a pick off, not half bad. Xavier Thomas decided to return because it was a letdown year. Trey Lance would have the huge rise. This is where I just included him in my rankings because I wasn't ready, because I was like, man, he's a Northwest, like North Dakota State. Man, I think he's going to need a big Senior Bowl to really rise up boards, but nah, man. The hype got real, even if the showcase game was like, but yeah, man, quickly he became that quarterback 4 for me after guys like Brock Purdy were sucking. Tanner Morgan were sucking. Jamie Newman opted out. Like, quickly he became, I was like, okay, I guess he's going to end up going higher than these guys. Just based on the potential. Dylan Moses ended up being an undrafted free agent. He had the real down season. A lot of people expected a rebound. Remember, he was thought of as a first-round prospect in 2020. So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. The injuries from like 2019, the bad play in 2020, I guess it just killed his stock. Andre Cisco, I think he would have went about this range, like early second to mid second, if he was able to play the whole season. But things happen. It's MARR and TREY, man. I will not ask for forgiveness. I apologize for nothing. I still love MARR and TREY this today. He was a 3rd round prospect in my rankings, and the Seattle Seahawks got 2 big steals in him and K. Johnson, who was also a 3rd round prospect on my rankings. So I don't know what's up with the NFL, but the Seahawks able to reap the rewards. Yeah, no, let's be honest. It was a bad 2020. Kyle Pitts. Hey, dude, hold on. I nailed him to the Falcons. Yo, straight up, I nailed him to the Falcons. It just happened in, 36 picks earlier. Yeah, dude, meteoric rise. He had a banger year. He proved he's more than just a tight end. Yeah, it's kind of cool that I had him to the Falcons, though. I didn't even notice that initially. And let's keep this train rolling. All right. So Baron Browning, he ended up going what? He didn't go the second. Oh gosh, I can't even remember where Baron Browning even went. He didn't go to the Dolphins. Baron Browning. No, he didn't go to the Jags. That's not right, right? Denver Broncos. Okay, he went to the Broncos. What round was that? Was that the 4th? Someone in like, oh, that's right. It was the back end of the 3rd round. Okay. Yeah, and I mentioned in this, I listed him as an edge, but I mentioned, I was like, man, he's going to be used as off-ball linebacker, so it's going to be really interesting to see. So, yeah. I could tell you and then, of course, I got Jalen Twyman here. He ended up being, what, like a 4th or 5th rounder, 6th rounder, something like that. He went on day 3. Him and his buddy Patrick Jones. I ended up, like, just getting real low on Twyman. Just the guy kept putting on weight, kept putting on muscle, like he was just constantly in the weight room. The guy I think he got up to like 319 at one point, but like when he decided to opt out, I went back, and obviously during the summer is when I do a lot of my like previous season like watching, and I just came back like less and less impressed, and that's when I started getting on Rashad Weaver, because he was coming off the injury, and yeah, man, it was weird watching that Pittsburgh front. Creed Humphrey ends up being a 2nd round pick. He goes a little bit later, but I feel good about that. Now, I want y'all to hear what I said about Rashawn Slater here. I don't know. I didn't know where my cursor was for a second. I think it's about. It's like here. All right, so I'm also gonna move this so y'all can even see the words come from my mouth. Oh, wait. I forgot to unmute the sound. Here we go. Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. This guy I'm very, very high on.
NFL is probably not, at least not yet. But he's going to be one of my under the radar picks in this draft class. He played on the right for his first 2 seasons, moved on the left last season, and his game just went to another level. Really, only Sewell was better than him in my opinion last season. And the guy, he put up a very good effort against Chase Young, and it was probably Chase Young's toughest test last season. Chicago.
Oh, not saying I was right, but I certainly wasn't wrong. Oh shucks, here I want to move that back. I don't like how I looked then. So not that how I looked, not that I look any better. I still got the white tee and the Bass Pro Shop hat on and everything, but yeah, what I'm saying, like, I ended up moving him to like my top 5 OT. He ended up being like the 20 or 25th on my preseason big board. Like, I'm just saying, man, I was first out the gate when it came to Rashawn Slater. Everyone else just hopped on the bandwagon and then kicked me off the bandwagon and kept going. What do you mean? What do you mean he's better than Sewell? No, wait, come back. Yeah, it was kind of like that. Caden Stearns, he fell off. Like, I mean, as the season went on, like, if you show no improvement over like 2,000 snaps, yeah, teams are gonna worry. Quincy Roche, he fell to like the 5th. A lot of people were way higher on him than I was. Like, they thought he was a first rounder. I was like, I kind of think he's passing down edge rusher only. And I think that ended up being true. Javon Holland, this is actually about the range he went in. So yeah, I feel good about that. Trey Smith, man, really, teams were really worried about the medical issues. He ended up falling to like the 6th round. Banger steal for the Chiefs, potentially. Banger steal. Wow, and I think this is funny because I think I got a lot of crap in the comments about this. I don't know. I have to go back and look. But I had the Raiders go offensive line back to back because I was like, man, their offensive line's getting kind of up there in years. Maybe that's something that they should address. And I got roasted for it. Man. People were like, no, their offensive line is just fine. And then obviously during this season, their offensive line just didn't want to be there anymore. I just thought it was funny how, like, in high, like, yeah, at the time I was like, oh yeah, that's silly. Rodney Hudson's got a lot of play left in him. Yeah, it's fine. Maybe Trent Brown's a good pickup. Okay. But yeah, like, in hindsight, how much a year changes, you know? Or even just a few months. All right, let's keep this party rolling. I want to see Abraham Lucas. He ended up deciding to return. So I'm kind of on the fritz about that. Because I'm curious, how old is this guy? Carlos Basham did end up going to the back end of the 2nd round. Here's kind of like the middle of the 2nd round, so not bad. I loved Basham. Levi Wuzoriki, I think, went a little earlier than this, which is wild because I was I had him as a 3rd rounder when it came actually draft time, so I was way higher actually here in this than I was during during the draft. Pat Freiermuth ended up being a 2nd rounder, man. Kind of nailed it. Jalen Mayfield, this began the descent of, man, I'm not that impressed with Jalen Mayfield. I don't know what people see in Jalen Mayfield. I don't like the prospect Jalen Mayfield. So it kind of began here. Brandon Equals ended up going, I think, in the 6th round. I don't know. He was a slot only guy that I kind of fell in love with. And then as the season went on, I was like, yeah, he's probably closer to that late day 3 range. It is what it is. We're going to see another guy later on here that I was like, that I really like, but he was a slot. He's probably a slot only in the NFL, but I really like him, but he'll probably be a day 3 guy. Nick Bolton went in about this range. I got a little bit higher on him later on, but kind of reverted back after, considering just as an athlete, he doesn't have like, he's like very compact athlete, or he's very compact. He's he's not a bad athlete, but he doesn't really have those 1st round traits. But Khalil Shakir, I bet you he's gonna be in this similar. Like he decided to return for the 2021 season. He's gonna be around the same area. I'm gonna have a day 2 grade on that guy. I really like him as a slot option in the NFL. And let's get on to the final picks here. Chubba Hubba, man, he ended up going what? Round 4, I think, round 4 or 5 to Carolina. Trey Hill had to fall down boards. He didn't exactly have a great 2020 season. Hamza Nasir Ildeen kind of fell too. He wasn't able to get on the field. He played like 2 games there at Florida State, unfortunately. Israel Mukwamu. And here, I got a lot of crap about this because everyone and their mom thought Mukwamu was a first rounder. Ended up J.C. Horn was the better prospect. And you know what? I don't even have J.C. Horn in this mock. You know, because I think I had a 4th round grade on him initially saying he's very polished, but I think he could be a better athlete. And then this season happened, and I was like, man, he's actually a pretty solid athlete than the pro day. Oh my gosh, he's a ridiculous athlete. Like, it's wild how that happens, man. It's wild. But Mukwamu, yeah, he just fell further on my board. He ended up being like a 5th rounder in my projections. Sean Holly's the guy I'm talking about. He plays outside of Appalachian State, but with his size, he's going to have to play slot. But realistically, he's probably going to end up a day 2, day 3 guy, or day 2. He's going to end up being a late day 3 guy. I really like him. He ended up, yeah, he's going to be qualifying for the 2022 draft. But yeah, okay, I didn't look at this either. I called Kyle Trask to the Bucks. Yo, I got 3 right. 3 right out of 64 picks. And you would have thought one of them would have been Trevor Lawrence to the Jags. Ha! Fooled you. Dude, that's crazy. Like, okay, Alex Leatherwood to the Raiders. That's kind of cool. Kyle Pitts to Atlanta, but it was the wrong round. But Kyle Trask, like, yo, not half bad. Not half bad. Myjah Sanders, I'll figure out how to say his name. He ended up not declaring. He's probably going to be a day 2 guy in my initial rankings. I'm pretty high on this cat. J2 Fele, another guy that just rose up people's boards, and I couldn't understand why. And I dropped him further down on my board after he decided to opt out. Further down than this, but I mean, it's so cool going back and looking at stuff like this. Is very interesting to see what changes. But yeah, that's it for the video. Let me know what you think. What were some of your draft misses early on in the process? We'll have the mock out tomorrow, I believe. But yeah, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.